Okay guys, so now I'm going to go through a multi-time frame structure chart example. Okay, so it's going to show you exactly what I mean in those previous diagrams, but on the actual charts. So hopefully this will allow you to get your head around multi-time frame structure and will really help you in forming that directional bias in your trading. Okay. So what we have here is we're on the daily time frame. If you want to follow along, this is the 15th of December 22 and this is the 6th of June 23. Okay, so what we've got on the daily time frame then is we've got an impulse, a correction, an impulse, a correction, and then an impulse to the upside. Okay, breaking that structure to the upside. So what I've said in the previous lesson is a leg on a higher time frame is a trend on a lower time frame, and we went through the 4-hour and the M15 and the daily and the 4-hour. Okay, so this video I'm going to go through the daily and the 4-hour. So this is an impulse leg, this is a correction leg, and this is an impulse leg of the daily. If we are to use that framework from the last video, then we expect each one of these legs on the daily time frame to be made up of a 4-hour trend. Okay, so we expect that this impulse leg to the upside here is made up of a 4-hour trend to the upside, right? And then once we've broken structure, we expect a daily pullback, and therefore we expect at some point the 4-hour will switch bearish, right, to then facilitate the daily pullback to the downside into the strong daily low, which is here. We expect this strong daily low to hold, and therefore we expect the 4-hour to then switch bullish again to then target that weak daily high to the upside. Okay, that's the framework. So the framework is each leg on the daily, the impulse leg, the correction leg, and the impulse leg should be made up of a 4-hour bullish trend, bearish trend, and then bullish trend again. Okay, so if I then go and mark on this as my strong low, right? This is my daily strong low. I'm just going to mark it on here to show you when I go down to the lower time frames. So this is my daily week high as well, right? Because we've broken that structure to the upside. We've started the pullback. We expect this daily low to hold, and we expect to target that week high to the upside. Okay, so this was my daily week high, and this was my daily strong low. Now, between these 2 points, right, from here to here, that is one daily leg. So that should be made up, if I go down to the 4-hour, it should be made up of a bullish 4-hour trend up until this high point here. Okay, so let's have a look then, and let's go down to the 4-hour. Okay, so this line down here was our strong daily low, and this line up here was our weak daily high. Okay, and this was our daily break of structure to the upside. Okay, so what do we see then? Well, this is our daily impulse leg, right? So this is our daily impulse leg to the upside, and we expect from our framework that a daily impulse leg is made up of 4-hour bullish structure. Okay, it's made up of a 4-hour bullish trend. If we then, so we're on the 4-hour now, and let's map on that 4-hour structure. Okay, and I've already done that here. So we had this break structure to the downside, which was the last break structure to the downside, and then we have this 4-hour break of structure to the upside. Okay, that signals that this next daily impulse leg may be ready to start, and may be starting to target this weak daily high up here. Okay, so what happens then? We have a 4-hour break of structure to the upside. We expect a 4-hour pullback. The 4-hour starts to pull back. Okay, it comes into our strong 4-hour low that we expect to hold, which it then does, and it breaks 4-hour structure again to the upside. What do we expect after a 4-hour break of structure? We expect a 4-hour pullback. 4-hour pulls back to an area of value. Okay, and we expect it now to target this 4-hour weak swing high. What happens? Price pushes up and targets that 4-hour high, breaking 4-hour structure to the upside. What do we expect after a 4-hour break of structure? We expect a 4-hour pullback. 4-hour pulls back to this point here, And then what do we expect? We expect it to target this 4-hour weak high. Price then pushes up and breaks 4-hour structure to the upside again. And what do we expect after a 4-hour break of structure? We expect a 4-hour pullback. Now, this 4-hour break of structure also broke the daily structure to the upside, right? That was our daily impulse, daily correction, daily impulse, and it's now broken that daily structure to the upside, okay? So we've got to keep that in the back of our minds. So after a 4-hour break structure, what do we expect? We expect a 4-hour pullback. 4-hour pulls back to an area of value, which was here, and then we expect it to target that 4-hour weak high. What does it do? It targets that 4-hour high and breaks that 4-hour structure to the upside, okay? So what do we see from this then? Well, I said that this line here represents that daily weak high, and this line down here represents that daily strong low, okay? So from here, or from here even, from when it switched bullish, we had a daily impulse leg to the upside. What's that been made up of? That's been made up of a 4-hour bullish trend, right? Making higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, okay? So it makes that 4-hour bullish trend, which facilitates the single daily impulse leg to the upside, okay? So that's exactly what I mean by a leg on a higher time frame is a trend on a lower time frame, okay? This one daily leg to the upside, which if we go to the daily, that is this one daily leg to the upside, right, is made up of what? It's made up of a 4-hour bullish trend to the upside, and it never breaks structure to the downside, right? We expect these 4-hour ranges to hold until we take out this daily swing high, okay? So now what then, right? We've broken that daily structure to the upside, and so from a daily perspective, we expect a daily pullback, okay? We've had that break of structure to the upside, and now we expect the daily to start pulling back at some point. We don't know exactly when that daily is going to pull back, but what tells us that the daily, what gives us the signal that the daily is going to pull back? Well, it's the 4-hour switching bearish, isn't it? So that's our daily impulse leg. We then go down to the 4-hour. We've had a daily break of structure, and therefore we expect at some point the daily wants to pull back. How do we know when the daily is going to pull back? The 4-hour is going to break structure to the downside to then facilitate that daily pullback, okay? So if we map structure on from when we were last here, so that is a pullback, and then that is a 4-hour break of structure to the upside, that means our strong low is the lowest point within that break of structure, right? If we have our rectangle tool, we draw it across here, pull it down, that means this point here is the lowest point that caused that break of structure to the upside, okay? And therefore, this point here is our strong low that we expect to hold. However, the daily's broken structure, and so the daily must pull back at some point. What facilitates the daily pullback? The 4-hour is going to switch bearish to then facilitate that daily pullback into the strong daily low. So what happens? We have an impulse, a correction. An impulse, break structure, a correction. And then instead of impulsing again and breaking that structure to the upside, we break 4-hour structure to the downside here. This was our 4-hour strong swing low, and it has now been broken to the downside, okay? So what does that tell us? That signals that our daily is ready to pull back to the strong swing low. So what do? We just follow the 4-hour now down to the daily low, okay? So what do we have? We have a break structure, we have a pullback, we then have another 4-hour break of structure, we then have another 4-hour pullback, we then have another 4-hour break of structure, another 4-hour pullback. Gets a little bit messy here, but I'd say that is then a pullback, okay? Then we push down, where's our strong high? Our strong high is here, and then we get a 4-hour break of structure to the upside, okay? So let me just show you again. From here up to here, that is one daily impulse leg, okay? After a daily break of structure, we expect a daily pullback, okay? How is that going to be facilitated? Well, the 4-hour is going to switch bearish to facilitate that pullback into the daily strong low, okay? What happens? the 4-hour break structure to the downside, and then forms a bearish 4-hour trend until we come into this strong daily low, okay? Then what happens? Well, we expect at some point, right, we expect the daily to push up, to pull back into the strong daily low, to then push up and target that weak daily high. How is that going to be facilitated? Well, the 4-hour now is going to switch bullish to then facilitate that next impulse leg on the daily to target that weak daily high, okay? So you see, this is a daily impulse made up of a 4-hour bullish trend. This is a daily correction made up of a 4-hour bearish trend. And now we've got a signal of a 4-hour break of structure that then signals that we are potentially now ready to target the daily swing high to the upside, okay? The daily weak high to the upside. So if we just play price on, it does take quite a while to get there. So I'll actually go to the daily, but that is exactly what happens, okay? Price pushes up, had a bit of a correction, and then breaks that daily structure to the upside here, okay? So that's now a daily break of structure to the upside. And what do we know about a daily break of structure? Well, it gives us our strong low that we expect to hold, okay? So I hope that you can see then that this impulse, this correction, and this impulse on the daily, okay, is made up of a 4-hour bullish trend, which then, after this break of structure on the daily, switches bearish to then facilitate that daily pullback into the daily strong low. We expect this daily strong low to hold because it is daily structure, okay? And we expect it to hold because it's a strong low to target this daily weak high. How is that going to be facilitated? The 4-hour is going to switch bullish to facilitate that next impulse leg on the daily to take out this daily weak high, okay? So that's how the multi-time frames are used to facilitate each other, okay? A leg on a higher time frame is a trend on a lower time frame, and the lower time frames facilitate the impulse and correction legs of the higher time frames.